Hey everybody, this is the Farm Engineer, and I've got a real treat for you because we've got the master of engineering, Elon Musk, and he's got some lessons to share. They relate to engineering, but I'm going to relate them to homesteading and farm engineering in general, and we're going to learn a lot. All right, let's get on it. 5-step manufacturing process.
Firstly is the sort of 5-step process. First, make your requirements less dumb. Your requirements are definitely dumb. It does not matter who gave them to you. It's particularly dangerous if a smart person gave you the requirements, because you might...
Yeah, Joel Salatin, yeah, for sure. Your requirements, which should be made by you, no one tells you what goes on your homestead. You need to learn what needs to be there, okay? My job as a real teacher is to teach you how to think, not what to think. I'm not going to tell you to do permaculture or not do permaculture, but I'm going to give you some reasoning. I might use permaculture as an example. I do pretty often. I will show you my work like a good math student, like a good engineer does. Let's say your stuff hits the fan scenario is total breakdown of society. I'm going to be on my homestead by myself, right? What are your requirements? If you haven't done a nutritional analysis, which I have a video on, it'll link in the description down below, you're lost. I'm sorry, but you're lost. You don't know where you're going, and therefore you're lost. You need to do a nutritional analysis, and if you do that, you're going to find out a lot of the things that are on a permaculture orchard are not necessary in that scenario. Okay, so you're preparing for the end of the world, right? You can't buy fertilizer. Well, guess what? In that scenario, you don't care about getting 10% of your daily value of vitamin C out of an apple. Okay, you're going to care about getting it from, your tomatoes or something which are far more rich in vitamin C, or peppers, which are even better, and they're way easier to grow. You don't need permaculture techniques for that. You're going to care about calories. You're going to care about minerals. You're going to care about all these other things. You're not going to care about tasting something sweet. Okay, it's a little bit, makes me a little crazy because I feel like a lot of people get their homestead aesthetic and they get their homestead mindset from visiting Cracker Barrel and looking at the menu. All right, it's insane. Do the nutritional analysis, then decide what you're going to grow. That nutritional analysis gives you the requirements. If you want to be food self-sufficient, you need to do that analysis. You will cut out so many things.
Not question them enough.
Yeah, you might take it as like gospel. Like,
gospel.
Everyone's wrong.
That's another thing I see.
Everyone's wrong some of the time.
Joel Salatin does it is not a good reason to do something.
Whatever requirement or constraint you have, it must come with a name, not a department. Because you can't ask the department. You have to ask a person.
So this is about requirements traceability, of knowing who told you to do something. You need to tell you to do something. You're the one who's going to learn how to think, not what to think. You have to answer for it. If your family's food depends on it, you better be able to answer that.
And that person who's putting forward the requirement or constraint must agree that they must take responsibility for that requirement.
That's
Otherwise, you can have a requirement that basically an intern 2 years ago randomly came up with off the cuff, and they're not even at the company anymore.
Right.
So make your requirements less dumb. Then try very hard to delete the part or process. This is actually very important. If you're not occasionally adding things back in, you are not deleting enough. Right. The bias tends to be very strongly towards let's add this part or process step in case we need it. But you can basically make in-case arguments for so many things, and then
you need to delete stuff. Things that take up your time, attention, your money. Those you need to question whether or not you still need. Don't have the tractor or the ride-on mower just in case. Do you have a reason for it? Do not have this permaculture orchard because just in case. Do you really need it? You might find out you need to add it back. That's fine. That's fine. It's not the end of the world just yet.
Only the third step is simplify or optimize. The third step, not the first step.
Yep.
The reason it's the third step is because it's very common, it's possibly the most common error of a smart engineer is to optimize a thing that should not exist.
100%.
Right.
Optimizing something that should not exist. Now, I'm hammering on the permaculture people. Sorry. If I make some of you mad, that's because you're having a learning moment. The anger is you resisting the learning. Keep that in mind. In the end of the world scenario, when you need nitrogen fixers, do you really need the apples? You don't. There's no reason you need the apples, okay? This is not some little house on the prairie thing, okay? Do the nutritional analysis. Oh, I need it for water content. Then go have a water system. It's going to be a lot less trouble. You can even pump it by hand. That's the way suction works. Okay. If you need an orchard, what are you growing there? Do you need it? Is it actually contributing? Right? If not, you needed to have done step 2 and deleted it. Do not optimize. In my opinion, for a stuff hits the fan scenario, permaculture is people optimizing something that should not exist. Because in the scenario of an end of the world or stuff hits the fan scenario, you just don't need it.
Okay, but, and then finally you get to step 4, which is accelerate cycle time. If you're moving too slowly, go faster.
Yeah.
But don't go faster until you have worked on the other 3 things first.
Yep. Those other 3 things, what do you really need? Get rid of all the stuff that you don't. Optimize, so get your bumper crop, and then work on making things go faster. Do not try and save time until you are hitting your goals, until you are actually functional. There's a reason why I'm not building a bunch of robots or something right now, right? I've just made my requirements maybe like a month ago, did my nutritional analysis, did my land analysis, did my crop analysis. I've deleted all the stuff I don't need, which is pretty easy because this is a new homestead. I don't have a lot of baggage. Third step, optimize. Am I getting the best crop that I can? Do I have the technique? And then once I get to step 4, this is make that technique go faster. What can I do to make it go faster? Time yourself in your chores. Just take a look at your watch. Just take a look at I started watering, and then 15 minutes pass, I'm done watering. How often do you water, right? That's a certain number of hours a year. How often do you clean the chicken coop? For me, I clean the chicken coop for about 20 minutes every 6 months. Because all of my roosts have hay under it. I just shovel the hay into a bucket. I take the bucket out. I put fresh hay down. It's not a big deal. That takes care of like 90% of the chicken pock that's in there. Pock is my polite word for poop.
Gotcha. But if you're digging,
so I would optimize the watering, not the cleaning of the hen house, right?
Your grave. Don't dig it faster. Stop digging your grave.
Yeah. If you're digging your grave, don't dig it faster. Don't get better at doing dumb things. Okay. Not saying that permaculture is dumb, but every indication I've done has made it look really dumb. Would you rather read 0 books and do it the right way, or read 10 books and do it the wrong way? Let me see what else I've got to say here before I go on.
So, but you can always make things go faster.
He looks like he's been up for a couple of days. It happens a lot more than you think. Side note, completely unrelated. Adderall is used a lot by engineers and lawyers and doctors and congressmen. Pretty much anybody that really doesn't like sleep and likes to get stuff done.
And then the final step is automate. Now I personally...
He doesn't have a lot to say on automate, so I'm going to stop it right there. Let's get back to OBS Studio. Back to webcam. Automate is the last step. That's why I haven't done it yet. I'm an automation engineer, so you're probably asking, why hasn't Alex built these watering robots? Why hasn't he built this robot? Well, I haven't done step 1 through 4 yet, right? Well, I've done step 1. I've done step 2. I've gotten rid of, it was easy because, fresh homestead. Step 3, optimize. I'm working on that right now. I'm trying to figure out what does it take to grow tons of tomatoes, because tomatoes actually are a thing that I need to grow. What does it take to grow a ton of oats? What does it take to grow a ton of rye? How am I going to get the most out of the land that I have? How am I going to quantify the inputs such as water, labor, seed, and fertilizer? How am I going to quantify all those things? And then once I've quantified them, how am I going to use as little as possible and really stretch my dollar and stretch my effort? Then after that, accelerate it. Can I do it faster? And then once I've done it faster and manually, then I would automate it. You do not want to automate until you've done those things, because you're going to waste all of your time automating something that doesn't take any time. Having an automated chicken coop cleaning thing makes for a fun YouTube video, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would like to see that. But I'm not a YouTube farmer. I'm not here to farm views. I'm here to actually farm food and then tell you how to do it. So I'm on step 3, kind of working my way on to step 4. Step 5 will probably come next year. This is what happens when engineering and farming meet. On the small scale, large scale agriculture is already engineered, but that's not the scale that you want, right? That's a market segment that's up here. You're down here. Quantity and costs are way down. You don't want to go into a ton of debt. You don't want to buy a full-size tractor. You might not even want to buy a BCS like push tractor. A 75 by 75 foot area is all that you need to feed one person, and that's for an entire year. Plus a greenhouse, and then plus a pasture. It's not that much effort. I don't even know if I need to buy any machines. So I'm going to resist buying any machines. And we're going to see what happens if I try to do it manually. How many hours does it take? We are going to change homesteading because I see that it has been completely possessed by marketers, and 90% of YouTube channels are marketing. That's all they are. They don't produce their own food, right, to subsist off of most of the time. And how would you even know, right? Off the camera, they could just be eating a pizza. You wouldn't know. The ones I trust the most are the YouTubers that make money. They're actual farmers because they do it at scale and they know how to do it at small scale, large scale. They've already shaved off a lot of the costs. The only difference between them and you is the scale at which they do it. You can scale down something that's already fundamentally sound. You cannot fix something that's fundamentally broken and get it to any kind of scale. I'd probably have a $3 million farm too if I had dedicated my life to it and had a ton of unpaid interns working it, right? But I don't, and I don't think you're going to either, so let's just make this thing work. One family, one farm, one vision, food sovereignty. Let's grow.